So much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other. You do remember all the circumstance. Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the mutinies in the Bilbo. Rashly. And praised be rashness for it. Let us know. Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall. And that should teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will. Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me. In the dark groped I to find out them. Had my desire, fingered my packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears forgetting manners, to unfold their grand commission, where I found Horatio a royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health, and England's too, with oh such bugs and goblins in my life, that on the supervise no leisure bated. No, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off. Is the commission really at more leisure? But wilt thou hear now how I did proceed? Being thus benetted round with villainies, or I could make a prologue to my brains that had begun the play, I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it as our status due, a baseness to write fair, and labored much to forget that learning. But, sir, now did me yeoman service. Wilt thou hear the effect of what I wrote? An earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear and stand a calm between their amities, and many such like. As sir, great charge, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement more or less, he should those bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed. Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the very model of that Danish seal. Folded it up in the writ of the other, subscribed it, gave it the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea fight, which was to this sequent thou knowest already. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell insensate points of mighty opposites. I'm going to keep going. I've done this 1,000 times, so... Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I thought it was like maybe 5 minutes, but it's just shy of 4 minutes actually. It's a nice chunk of Hamlet, right? So when Hamlet is on his journey to England from Denmark, right? He looks in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's bags while they're on the ship and finds, right, the commission from his uncle Claudius, right, to have them kill Hamlet. Did I nail it all the way through? Nah, I missed a couple lines. But it's quite good. I would say I nailed it. But anyway, that's like
Just so that like we're on the same page. That's like 8.5 minutes of Shakespeare. Because Horatio's in the scene and he says like 4 minutes, like 6.5, almost 7 minutes. And I learned that in the last 2 hours. I already know most of the play. Welcome to the channel. This channel exists to discuss my relationship with Quentin Tarantino, and I have a lot to say. Right? My name is Brian Jennings. I'm the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic last April. And so, right, this channel exists to discuss what's occurring, to discuss what happened. Right? And I know that emotions are high right now. Right? That's right? I don't know what he tells people. I don't know. Quentin set me up at a screening of Jackie Brown, right? At De Niro Con last year. Right? And after I didn't give him what he wanted, right, he entered into a covenant to destroy my mind, to compel me to suicide. Right? There's no other way to interpret it. Right? That the only reason, right, like perhaps there's like something occurring in the air, right? But that's only because, right, everyone around him is saying, no, I don't think that this guy actually is crazy. I think that maybe you've been lying to us this entire time. Right? And it's a real fucking shame. That's what I have to say about it. Right? But on another note, I had a really nice guy say that he was interested in a piece of music that I put up here. So I'm going to play it again because I'm not like theory sort of like savvy. I mean, I am as far as like, right? I guess I'm kind of like Bella Fleck. That like when you watch him, he plays like really sophisticated like stuff, you know? But if you asked him, he would say, gosh, well, like I don't read, like he doesn't read, you know? And there's a bunch of other musicians, but he's the first one that I thought of, right? That he, like I played the piece, right? As far as the video, and he said, oh, will you explain to me, you know, like what it is, like what's occurring. And I was like, oh, well, like I replied, but I didn't know that I succeeded. So I told him that I would play it again, and that's what we're going to do. So if I just give like give an example, not an example, but a tutorial of the piece. It begins, where it's the 10th fret on the A string, and so that's a D, and then it's a 9th fret on the D string, which is a B, so D and a B, and then the rest are open, right? And it looks like this. Right? And then the second one is the 5th fret on the A string and the 4th fret on the D string. And it looks like this. Right? And the third one, right, which is the primary position, is basically a C chord, but without the index finger. Right? And so the actual arrangement, that's goddamn, that's kind of hard actually. Okay. I'll try to keep it like right here. God damn it. Okay. to just like kind of unpack that, and I know I was like butchering it like there at the end, but it's a really lovely, like haunting kind of piece of music. Is an open, it's essentially, it's an open C, you know, like here's a C, right? That's like where I was at in my head. It's not like a sophisticated, right? And so it's all just you know, and heaven makes a rhapsody of words, you know, it's all just channeling like from the divinity, like out through my hands, you know, like I don't really know like what else to tell you in that way. But again, so it's 10th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D string, which is a D and a B, and then you hit the rest open, right? And then it's 5th fret, 4th fret on the D, on the A and the D, and the rest are open. Right, so it's right, and so the progression, the actual progression, I'm doing all this for one guy, but the progression begins like essentially E, and then F sharp, F, E, E. So it's like open E, F. Oh, sorry, open E, F sharp, F, E, E, E. So that's E, F sharp, F, E, right? But this is like its own thing. That's a nice note. That's a nice note. Nice dirty note. Which is a B, and then this is a what is this note? This is a D. It's a D sharp. So it's a B, D sharp. Okay, B, D sharp, and then an A. Anyway, it's really easy. And it's a nice piece of music that I sent to Quentin Tarantino. Right? December of 2023. Not like yesterday. Long time ago. So, if you recall, there's 2 essays missing from my novel. Right? And so, the 2 essays, so on my novel, like we read through the novel, right? Beginning, middle, end. Right? And it's called Building a Coven, as in a witch's coven. Right? And so at the beginning of the novel, there's 3 essays, which are on magic, on time, and on number. Right? And so they're all lacking. Right? I have to go through all of them again, but there's 2 more that need to come. And that's on geometry and on language. So, if you recall, we're going through this book, Spherical Models, Magnus Weininger, right? And so, this is the best one yet, 100%. Right? This is the icosahedron. But if you look, it looks like the dodecahedron. That's a pentagon, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Right? And then there's 3. All right, but if you see there's triangles, that's all triangles. It's 20 triangles. It's an icosahedron. Right? But it's badass. Right? And so I learned a lot putting this one together. Right? What I learned is that there's duality. Right? That each of the triangles, right, is a left hand and a right hand. And so you have to fold the triangles together. right? And so if I take this as an example, what do I mean when I say that, right? What I mean is that I can take this, right, which is for the tetrahedron. It would make a little tetrahedron if there's 5 more. Take 6 of them. That I can fold these. Huh? Like so. No need to overthink it. I don't have to actually glue them. I don't have any glue here. Right? Now you hold them, right? Like that's like this is how, right? So you could fold them like this, right? And then you can also do this and fold them inside, right? And you glue it like this, and that's my point, right? That's left hand, right hand, right? And so this is why, right? Because I realized that while I was putting this together, this looks so good. That's right. It's badass. Like this is perfect. This was perfect, right? I have so much that I could say. Right? Why do I put those together? Right? Like, what does this board have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the movie critic? Right? Like, what does this have to do with the movie critic? Right? That's a fair question. That's a fair question, isn't it? Right? Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant. Right? Who occupies the minds, right, of the people in his films. Right? Right? Any psychic clairvoyant flexes their power, right, which is a psychic pressure upon the firmament of space, right? Embedded within all of space, in terms of the structural manifold, right, is an infinite complex nesting of polyhedra, right? And so the divine light of God exerts pressure upon this, right, which is the divine light of conscious awareness in man. So, right? Right? Quentin revealed to me over between the 2 months that he had between the canceling of the film in Tribeca, right? That he revealed to me all the way up till now, right? But for De Niro Con, right? Right? That he is a psychic clairvoyant. Right? And so all psychic clairvoyants exert the same pressure, right, that God does, which is an abstract intellectual consideration. Right? And so, right, I make these, right? Right? I make this, right? Because they're all, right, embedded within every cubic centimeter of space, so perfectly nested, right, that they dissolve into seeming non-existence, right? And so I unlock this psychic potential in my brain by studying the structure of what is within all of space, what is within all of manifested reality, right? That's why we make these, right? Because to put this together, right, took me pushing 20 hours, right? This is 20 of these triangles, right? And I printed them all out, but just to cut them out, right? And so if I wanted to make them out of like, say wood or something, like I would have to like take a saw and, it's a beautiful form, right? But my point is that like when you fold all of these, right, when you're like cutting up everything and you're gluing it all together, right, you're embedding the mathematical and harmonic proportions of this form inside of your mind. That's unequivocal, right? It's not open for debate. That's what's occurring, right? And so what I'm saying is that this form is but one example, right? Which is embedded inside of this form, which is but another example, right? Of everything that constitutes, right, the quantum manifold, right? The quantum electric probability manifold, which exists perpetually in a state of rest in every cubic centimeter of space. Right? That this is like that's why I make all of these things, right? Like that's why I paint this. Right? That's why this board exists behind you. Right? Like Baphomet, right? That's just to be a jerk, essentially. That's just to say, I see the point that you're driving at, right? But make no mistake, right? Though it's a little dirty, right? Like we got like some blue like around here, right? This is a real dry point etching. This is not, right? Like all I had to do, right? And I'll make another one eventually, right? Was take some fucking paint thinner, right? And get rid of all of this. I could have done that in 2 minutes, right? And then you just have this, right? Which took me like 40 hours to make. Right? That this is, right? That's, right? This is right here. 29 arcs, right? Right? I made that with my mind, like with this, right? And while I was doing it, right? I was like looking over it, right? And I made it on the paper. You understand? Right? That this is like, while it's nothing, like someone would say, oh, it's nothing, right? Someone else would say, oh, is that like electron orbital patterns, right? Right, so it's 29 points, right, with 2 of them. So what is that? 9 plus 9 is 18, so that's 58, right? 58 vectors, right? So 8 plus 5 is 13. 1 plus 3 is 4, right? Which is the first number of multiplication, right? 2 squared is 4, the first exponential number. Right? My point is that every time you construct these, like all of these forms, right? That they have a particular codification, right? That they have a particular like here's where the 2 angles with the dihedral angles and like the specific angles that each edge meets in relation to the other one, right? And so what I'm saying is that's like this is how everything is structured, right? And when you devote your knowing to that, right, then your mind, right, is tapped into the hologram which persists in every cubic centimeter of space forever, always. You understand? Right? That's like this is why we do these things. Right? Right? I don't say words, right, to hear my voice, right? I know I have a great voice, right? And so now, right? Let's talk about the Hollywood Reporter and Variety. Let's just say that I'm wrong completely. What exactly is the good in allowing me to perpetuate this condition without refuting my claims. Right? What does Quentin get out of me saying that he is an evil, degenerate man that has me in fear for my life constantly? When he could just say, right? I don't support the dark arts. I don't want you to die. Right? My point, right? To Scott fucking Feinberg, who's gonna look Quentin in the eye and eat his ass for 3 fucking hours, is that if there's any validity to my claims at all, right? Then if that's true, right? And you decide to not report on this, right? Knowing that this is not about money, that this has nothing to do with money, right? If there is a single part of you that thinks this is true, this thing that I'm telling you, these things that I am telling you, right? Then by doing nothing, right, you tacitly approve of and support black magic evil. Is that like whomever runs your establishment, right? That's like this, and that's not a fair question. I know that's not a fair question, but there it is. I'm saying it, right? That I'm living my life, right, under a particular understanding, right? That Quentin Tarantino is a powerful clairvoyant. The things that people call psychic and clairvoyant are the same things people called magic and sorcery in centuries past. Therefore, since what I'm saying right now is that Quentin is a clairvoyant and uses his mind the same way that a sorcerer did, right, all those centuries ago. Are you prepared to go the remainder of your existence as a publication, as a place of alleged journalistic integrity, right? And say, yes, we support black magic evil. Is that what you, right? What I'm saying is that you see the models, right? There's the model. Right? Right? Here's a model. Right? There's some more models. Right? Right? I live in perpetual anxiety that he's going to send someone to murder me. So, is that not a story worth reporting on? Right? Now I want to say something to Fish. Right? I don't know what he said to you, but I do know. It's obvious. Right? And so, what I'm saying right now, right, is that while you were playing your show in Seattle, right, and you played possum, right, and made jokes about me after the show, right, Quentin took steps towards giving me AIDS with his mind. That's what I have to say to you right now. Are you, right? Are you open to Quentin doing the same things to you? Is that right? So, do you still think that I'm a funny guy? Do you still think that like making jokes about me and like keeping me from the truth is like funny? Is that right? Because I'm pretty sure all I ever asked from you was what the truth is, right? That I just asked you for what you have received that involves me. That's all I asked for, right? Are you interested in saying, no, I don't care what's occurring to you. I only care about what Quentin Tarantino says. That's right. Oh, it doesn't matter that you say he tried to give you AIDS. That's like, no, Quentin's the only one that matters. I don't care what you need. I don't care that you only want the correspondences that involve you. I don't care that you allege that Quentin has been trying to kill you. Right? So that's how you feel about your fans. They write you letters. Just so that like we're clear here. You don't want to show me, right, the correspondences that involve me. You don't want to do that. You want to listen to Quentin Tarantino and think that like he's a cool guy. Is that like, I just like, help me see like what the truth is. That's what I'm asking you right now. Right? So, WME. Right? Mike Simpson. Right? You knew unequivocally that I sent you 11 poems, 9 poems to a woman who doesn't exist. Right, so you got those, right? That 70 pages, right? Maybe not quite that many, but 12 pages, right? And you just thought, oh no, I don't have any ethical responsibility. That Quentin's, right? And I see right fucking through his tactics. Yes, Mike, I see. That he said, oh no, that guy's crazy. That guy's like, I misread him. Right? So, now I'm telling you, right? That you've been had. Right? You and Ari have been had. Right? You just look at this. Just look at this. Right? You think that someone that's insane can put this together? Is that like, am I supposed to believe that? Okay. How about this? It's just crazy thought, I know. Right. Let's see Quentin Tarantino put that together. Oh, wait. He's a fucking ignorant ass and understands nothing. Right? So now that we're like are fully caught up, right? That this thing came from the crazy person, right? This sophisticated structural thing, right? Right? And the uncrazy person is incapable of putting it together, right? This is not an arbitrary thing, right? If you remember, all of my channel subscribers, this is the book, right? We're going through this book, Spherical Models, right? That this is, right? This is the Bible. This is someone's Bible, right? So now, right, are you still prepared to say forever, right, in relation to everything that you see here, right, that Brian Jennings is insane? Because, right, the train's rolling, right? I submit that Quentin's an ignorant ass and is neck deep in bullshit. And so, right? My point is that you and Emanuel, right, have insulated, right, and enabled a man, right, to take steps to destroy my life with his mind, which I could do too. He stole it from my mind, right? You think this is bullshit? Is that? You think that I'm just like conjuring this idea out of my mind? Right? Everything that I'm talking about is true. You've allowed Quentin Tarantino to run amok. Right? And now, right? There's a clear through line of evidence showing me trying to talk plainly with Quentin and you doing nothing to rectify it. Right? That this is, right? Just like show me where your logic is. Right? You've enabled Quentin Tarantino to try to fucking give me AIDS. That's what you've been allowing him to do. Right? This is not a fucking child's game. Go ahead and ask Quentin to do to you what he did to me and see what he says. Right? Right? It's pathetic how much you fucking grovel at his feet. Right? Number one, he doesn't understand the game that he's been playing at. He's a fucking jackass. Right? And number two, right? You've allowed him to run amok for long enough. Right? I don't know what else to say. Right? Quentin is a powerful psychic clairvoyant, which he reveals in this book. His novel, not my novel, his novel. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the novel. Right? Charles Manson talks to Pussycat telepathically with his mind. Right? Right? Quentin did this one film too early. Right? He wanted to play the psychic mind game, and he's so goddamn arrogant, he thought that nobody would recognize. Right? So, right? What I'm saying is that I live in perpetual fear that he's going to send someone to fucking murder me. Right? That there's nothing else to consider there. Right? Right? Every day, all day, every day. Right? He took disgusting, evil steps, right? Which tarnished his immortal soul forever. He and his wife are trash spiritually. There's nothing good about either of them. Anyone who casts their allegiances with Quentin Tarantino is a fucking evil degenerate. That's it. There's nothing else to consider there, right? And so now, right, I have no choice but to talk about it, right? For a myriad of reasons that I don't have time to get into, right? But I'm going to sing a song, right? So, see what's good in your life, right? Know that life is not an accident. The power that Quentin taps into with his mind, right, is the dignity of God's omniscience. That's what's occurring. Nothing else has ever been occurring. Saw you stressed out in room 1009. You had a smile on your face and terror in your eyes. Whoa, I could quit you, my honey, baby love. Jewelry jangling as you walk it down the street, giving bloodshot eyes to every woman that you meet. Whoa, I could get high on you, my honey, baby love. So let the good Lord shine a light on you. Make every song you sing your favorite tune. So let the good Lord shine a light on you. Whoa. evening sun. So let the good Lord shine a light on you. Make every song you sing your favorite tune. So let the good Lord shine a light on you. Whoa, like the evening sun. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm gonna put the fucking email address of everyone that's involved in this thing. The Burbank International Film Festival, William Morris Endeavor, right? Fish, all of them, right? And you can write any one of them and say, what is the truth? Tell me what the truth is with Brian Jennings and Quentin Tarantino, right? See what's good in your life. Know that life is not an accident. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Uplift your soul to God. All the best.